come from jail. I come from church, I mean. And everybody's talking about JayZ. Wow. JayZ. Wow.
Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is not implicated in any of these files. Ye is the one who was canceled. Ye is the one the media is calling evil. Ye is the one who they are demanding an apology from. Are they demanding an apology from JayZ? JayZ is now allegedly implicated in these files published by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. Thanks for not listing JayZ here. Next to Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein.
Wow.
Same demand for JayZ to apologize. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is not implicated in any of these. Ye is the one who's canceled. Ye is the one the media is calling evil. Ye is the one.
This is crazy, bro.
Demanding an apology from JayZ. JayZ is now.
Wow.
This is not a drill. Pusha T and JayZ have both been revealed to be in the Epstein file. A few months ago, we have just received shocking news within the music world that two major artists in the rap game were revealed to be in the Epstein files, like Pusha T and JayZ. Specifically in the Epstein file,
and
Pusha T
in the Epstein files.
Disturbing with insane. In approximately 2007, a woman attended a party following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street. Weinstein and Pusha T also attended the party and drugged her and ended up doing other things.
Wow.
As for JayZ, the details are a lot more disturbing, within the files claiming that JayZ was doing something to a woman while she was sleeping, with it saying from her home she then later woke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter. JayZ, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into you know what.
Wow.
This entire situation, Pusha T and JayZ have both been name dropped.
Yo, please pause.
This is all cap, or do you guys think there's a lot of truth to this? Make sure you guys let me know. This is not a drill. Pusha T and JayZ have both been revealed to be in the Epstein files. A few moments ago, we have just received shocking news within the music world that two major artists in the rap game were revealed to be in the Epstein files, like Pusha T and JayZ. Now, specifically in the Epstein file, Pusha T is accused of doing something to a woman that is very disturbing, with it saying in approximately 2007, a woman attended a party following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street.
What the
Pusha T
fuck?
also attended the party and drugged her and ended up doing other things.
Ye, formerly known as Kanye West.
50 Cent has finally responded to JayZ and Pusha T being exposed in the Epstein files. For those of you that don't know, last night it was publicly revealed to the entire room that Pusha T and JayZ were both revealed to be in the Epstein files, with them being accused of doing very disturbing and nasty things. For Pusha T specifically, he was claimed in 2007 to have been with Harvey Weinstein, where he then ended up sexually abusing a woman. And as for JayZ, his accusations are also very disturbing, with him being accused of doing something to a girl while she was sleeping. And with all of this coming out, 50 Cent couldn't waste the opportunity to go at his nemesis JayZ by basically blasting him and making fun of him all over social media. And this is specifically what he ended up posting to his Instagram page, which were just very weird AI photos of JayZ. And then 50 Cent also hinted that he is planning on doing a massive documentary with this entire situation and exposing JayZ with the caption of this posting.
50 Cent has the camera.
To a doc on this. 50 did this out there because then he posted another photo of the headline of this entire situation breaking out, with him just pointing more jokes and fun at JayZ. So let's still, what is my entire situation?
Oh my
50 Cent just
God.
made jokes of JayZ after he was revealed in the
Pusha T and JayZ are named alongside Harvey Weinstein in 2019 FBI crisis.
Please don't put Puff in that.
So you swear to fucking God. This is what I'm gonna have to say about that stupid ass shit, bro. About people wanna talk about Drake and shit. I swear to God, Drake will never be found on the Epstein list, and I promise you. Pusha T and JayZ are named alongside Harvey Weinstein in 2019 FBI crisis. Those released in the later Epstein. So you swear to fucking God. This is what I'm gonna have to say about that stupid ass shit, bro. About people wanna talk about Drake and shit. I swear to God, Drake will never be found on the Epstein list, and I promise you. Pusha T and JayZ are named.
Oh my God, that's wild, bro. Oh my God.
At TD, we serve our customers in over 80 languages for the ones you're still learning.
Hola. Hola. ¿Cómo puedo ayudar?
Got some very dark and bizarre news that might not be surprising to some people,
gotta be
Rumors about JayZ
safe.
being involved in some nefarious things over the years. I've covered it on my channel before. You know, the dark death of
Wow.
JayZ's mistress. There's been all these rumors, most of which, pretty much all of which have been unsubstantiated. Just
Wow, dark death of
But JayZ was
JayZ's
involved in some dark
mistress.
things. They say he's in the
JayZ's.
Illuminati. They say that he's, you know,
This is
he's some
crazy.
satanic rituals. But now, unfortunately for Jay, they're saying that he's in the Epstein files. I think
Wow.
being in the Illuminati or the Epstein files, I'd probably pick the Illuminati. This is very embarrassing, and this is very dark, and this is very grim. But it's not just
Wow.
JayZ. They're also saying that King Push, alright? King Push, Pusha T himself is apparently in the Epstein files too. I cannot believe
Wow.
that. It's actually insane. It is
That's
honestly,
insane. That's some serious news
this
for
is bad.
sure.
Yeah, this is bad, alright? Just like the fuck I said. So this has been going around, and it's been going around a whole bunch of different subreddits. I'm going to quickly just fill you in, pause, on some of the subreddits that this has been posted in, and some of the comments and reaction, because this is some of the craziest news I've seen in years, alright? And to be fair, this isn't proven, this isn't proof. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's been going around the
I'm
internet
gonna
today.
buy some
But
juice.
this is absolutely wild, okay? So this has been going around. There's these two snippets that are basically saying that Pusha T and JayZ were involved in some pretty nefarious behind-the-scenes Hollywood demonic party rituals.
Wow.
I don't even know. There's no other way I can say it. It says on each occasion, Blank believes she was drugged, clouding her memory. Blank attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers. So they're saying that handlers was drugging this unnamed woman, this Jane Doe, right, and whom she described as persons who established friendships with the victims. Amongst her handlers,
Wow. JayZ.
Pusha T. Insane. I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless.
Madness of God.
In approximately 2007, Redacted attended a party, another name Redacted, following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down the street. Weinstein and Pusha T, yes, Harvey Weinstein, also attended the party and drugged her before engaging in sexual abuse. And then the next post, it says, in approximately 1996, Blank resided with Blank in Blank. An unknown man abducted Blank from her home when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, aka JayZ, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers into Blank, and Blank believed she was in Epstein's mansion in Florida.
JayZ in the file.
And also someone don't get sued, right? This is
Aside.
just an allegation. This is just an ambiguous claim. A lot of crazy stuff is coming out today from these Epstein files, and from what I understand, a lot of these are apparently reports made to the FBI and to the authorities.
I'm gonna make you a kale salad.
Doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolutely 100% true. But
Wow.
apparently, this is a claim that has been made at some point historically.
Wow.
And it's documented in the Epstein files. Honestly, when we saw JayZ was getting sued by a Jane Doe that said that she'd allegedly done something to her, and there was this Tony Busby lawyer that got dragged, and JayZ said, "You won't get one red penny from me." He had a lot of responses for that. So I would like to see JayZ's response to this. And I think we will see it. I think we will see it over the next few days. Because if he's got all that energy for Tony Busby, he's going to have to respond to this. He's going to have to. So,
Yo, subscribe, man. Subscribe to the thing, man.
4 hours ago.
What the heck, man?
He's got his government name listed, but Push just has his rap name.
Stop raping the kids.
But then they're posting a picture of Harvey
Stop
Weinstein,
raping the
JayZ,
kids.
cheesing it up.
I come from church, and this?
Okay, so look, for the record, a lot of people are believing this. They're saying that, you know, him not having his government name and him having his government name and now Pusha T not having it, it's cap, it's fake, it's fake.
Yo, Wendy, move from the blood club. I don't want to
Right.
night up.
And at this point is very interesting, okay? This is a reported statement, not the straight, deep research, though I will say that people are referred to by other things in the files at other points. If I'm remembering right, this alone isn't 100% perfect locking up evidence, but at a minimum, it was grounds that the FBI thought it was something of note. Then didn't touch upon it as they didn't with every person on the list, including the man in the big house, which is problematic at the least. Regardless of whether you think he did this or not, there would be no harm in investigating him along with the rest of this stuff. But here's the people arguing that this likely isn't true. They're saying, so we should believe that in 1996, JayZ, still without a record label living in New York, was already hanging around with Harvey Weinstein. Sounds like BS, just like last time. But some people are saying this is the time period that JayZ was chasing LL Cool J around in clubs in New York to battle him for clout, and we're supposed to believe he was connected to Weinstein and Epstein. They say JayZ was a rapper who was getting dissed by Tupac. Alright, so look, they're saying that look, JayZ can't have been that popular, he didn't have this sort of Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein connection
connections in 1996, it was too early. And then some people are arguing, wasn't he like 26 and already connected to the game? It's possible, in my opinion. Jay had connections by then. Reasonable Doubt wasn't the start of his career. But people are arguing, saying that if he was that connected, so much connected, he was close friends with Weinstein, who was already winning Oscars, why couldn't he even get signed by some label? If JayZ was so close with him, why didn't they use his firm to produce Reese's Watching? Why didn't they do anything together for 20 years, never appeared together when they were such close friends?
Wow.
But then, we get to this. So there's been a lot of allegations that JayZ has dated girls young and all that kind of thing. Now, we're not going to get into that in this video. There has been definitely a lot of claims made. Some of them look more meritable than others. I think we'll just leave it at that. But a lot of people say this has to be capped, okay? So this one says JayZ ain't have a platinum record or a major label deal to his name in 1996, and you're telling me he became the richest musician ever from 1997 to today, and there's no dirt from that time span? The smear campaign is real, unfortunately, and I don't think he's going to shake this one. The public is too dense to actually read what's said. They're just going to say he came up in the Diddy case and the Epstein files, and it's that SMH. But then they're saying, here's JayZ at a party with Weinstein who knew Epstein at a party in 1998. Lol, and you don't think it's plausible. Let's take a look.
This is your sign to stop pretending coffee is self-care. Try real self-care at iHerb.com. Vitamins, supplements, and all in one cart.
There's
Zero
survival.
overspending.
Yo,
iHerb
Peter
delivers.
is probably having a heyday with this right now. Yo, subscribe to the thing, man.
Shopping with me at Showcase. Showcase is the one-stop shop for all the viral trends that you see on social.
They're at the same party, apparently.
That's crazy.
Jay at the party. I don't even want to know what this is.
Wow.
Is that Muhammad Ali? Hey, we know how. Listen, do your research on how Muhammad Ali gets down. Is that Harvey Weinstein? Let's look at Harvey Weinstein. This is a party that I would be embarrassed to be at. Let's just leave it.
And this is what's happening?
Not said. Okay.
Wow.
They're saying 1996, this has to be bullshit. People believe anything, but other people are saying coke. People are saying, I can't believe this. People think this is real. But apparently it is. Apparently, some people believe it is. But here it is. Here's the full paperwork. This is literally on the Department of Justice's website. The Federal Bureau of Investigation Crisis Intake document regarding
What's really
child
happening in the
trafficking
world, bro?
and the case ID being related to Epstein. Okay? It says this woman called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Basically explained that in approximately 1994, a bunch of redacted stuff. Don't tell me I can copy and paste it like the other stuff. Please don't tell me I can copy and paste it like the other stuff. Wait. Approximately 1994, information as a past. No. Okay, no, I don't think I can see through these redactions. But anyway, it basically says that's her allegation. She made these allegations. She said she was abducted on 7 occasions, waiting at hospital indoor setting things. Obviously, I already read you this passage here that relates to, alleged presence of Sean Carter. That Weinstein had inserted his fingers into blank. She believed she was in Epstein's mansion. She goes on to say she was abducted on 7 occasions. She always woke up in an opulent indoor setting, suffered from abuse. For multiple of those locations, Epstein participated. She said Leon Black, William Barr, the U.S. Attorney General. Wow, it's crazy, okay? In 2006, that was when she last recalled being abused by Epstein. She said she was drugged, clouded her memory. This is where she mentioned Pusha T, which we already touched on. In 2007, she attended a party. Weinstein and Pusha T were at the party, claimed to have additional information about other persons involved in the enterprise, racketeering in support of trafficking. She confirmed she was not diagnosed with any mental illness, but refused to provide her physical address, claiming she maintained no permanent address and moved between staying in different hotels. This is on the actual Department of Justice website, okay? It actually is a real thing. And it's an allegation that was made. You can't say that it wasn't an allegation. They're saying reasonable doubt. JayZ, by the way, I highly doubt he had such connections, okay?
Wow.
Ironic name for the title now, alright? Reasonable doubt. Reasonable doubt. I highly doubt this, alright?
Wow.
He's guilty, deserves punishment, no doubt. However, I saw how this went last time. This all happened the day or the day after Epstein got arrested. Nothing further came of it. Doesn't necessarily prove anything. Though this call is just the one place where either of them are mentioned. Everybody else is in the emails and paperwork. Right? This is, again, I'll keep saying this. If JayZ didn't marry Beyonce, he wouldn't be in a lot of these conversations. I always believed he is the cover for her getting hit with rumors by the media. Jay would have just been a rich rapper with his rich friends, but Beyonce had to put him in such much. Since they can't bring her down, they have to bring down the black man she married, and she married a dude who made the way possible with his beliefs. JayZ is a level no other rap artist is ever going to reach again. He's the easiest target for anything, and knowing how black folks take their own when they get rich. It doesn't make it easier for me to believe
Why
this
don't
process.
ya?
I would need evidence and names. Until then, it's BS. You can't convince me that JayZ is into minors. Sorry, anything else but this. I need evidence and documents and pictures and names. Always Beyonce's shield. And now people are saying it's cut. They're saying they're defending a PDF. Alright, but let's look at what some of the other subreddits are saying, okay? Because a lot of people are celebrating the fact that JayZ and Pusha T particularly are being dragged into this absolute wildness, okay? So this is in the Playboy Carti subreddit where they're talking about the same thing, okay? You've already seen the passage from the Department of Justice website that I showed you already, but they're basically saying Drake and his fans just got the best news of their life, and Travis Scott, okay? And hey, listen, for all of the dissing that Pusha T did on Drake, it's not a good look. People are saying, not Push, bro. People are saying, not gonna lie, Push I didn't expect, but JayZ, Diddy, Epstein, and all the similar MFs are part of the same stuff. This is just a comment. I'm not saying this. This comment is saying JayZ's 100% in this stuff, no doubt. Weird ass piece of dirt. Even 50 Cent said he was in the files like a year and a half ago. Nobody believed him. People saying they're shocked, right? They're shocked by this. The celebrity be normal people with morals challenge. It's crazy. Because then they're shocked by Pusha T, but not JayZ. He was imaged with Beyonce when she was 16 and he was 30, and allegedly is where they actually started dating, despite them saying they didn't meet until 2000 when she was 19. They're saying, yeah, same Pusha T always acted like the moral police in the industry. You can't trust nobody in this industry no more. They're mostly the same. It is crazy, right? It is crazy. So there's other subreddits talking about this. This is the Rory and Mal podcast subreddit. Okay, we can get a slightly different perspective on this. All right, they're saying they need to address it on the pod. They're saying, here comes the coping. They're saying there's no chance in hell JayZ was on Epstein's radar in 1996. What the hell? People saying these new releases remind me of those texts that the kid who shot Charlie Kirk allegedly wrote. It comes off too convenient how they was all there. Victim walked into a room where JayZ was there along with Pusha T. Weinstein was fiddling with the tripod and Bill Gates was passing around loot. There was a TV set up where through Zoom Epstein and Trump were watching while naked. Okay, it is a little bit ridiculous. It's a bit far-fetched. They're saying JayZ wasn't a superstar in 1996. It seems really weird that he was hanging with Weinstein. But they're saying that's the year he dropped Reasonable Doubt. They're saying so this is who stole the 92 bricks. So look, okay, they're saying you owe Drake an apology. And it's a good point. It's a good point because look, Drake, no allegations of Drake were proven. So really, this puts JayZ and Pusha T and Drake all in the same basket. Disgusting, depraved allegations that are unproven. And we can just keep throwing that in your face, just like we did Not Like Us. If you can make and drag somebody through the mud for being a pedophile with no actual proof, with no actual substantial proof, we might need Not Like Us Part 2 for JayZ, we might need Not Like Us Part 3 for Pusha T. If that's how we're going, and apparently you can't sue for defamation if it's a rap battle, I'm going to need to see Drake dropping Not Like Us Part 2 and 3, dissing Pusha T and JayZ. Man says, my favourite little weird hat-wearing PDF broke Pierce in the Epstein files. Oh no, I didn't realise this one. What? Man, what? Brooke Pierce. I don't even know who this is, to be honest with you. I didn't actually check this one out. They're saying Pusha T's in it too. We're about ready to drop our favourites, alright? It is tough. JayZ and Pusha T named in the Epstein files. This is the New York State of Mind, the drill gang subreddit. People saying JayZ has too many accusations to let this fly under the radar. Alright, I'm not going to read that, but you see what it says. Drug dealers anonymous. They said Pusha T doesn't have a government name. Like, who only puts rappers' names in Fed documents? This looks fake. People don't believe it. People don't believe that they could have all been hanging out at that point. And I hear it. Some people are saying this is like some kind of voodoo curse. This is in the Drizzy subreddit. So the Drake fans are rejoicing. They're gassed, alright? They're saying the Projection T fans are about to be in shambles if this is true. So the wild thing is, if Drake was named, it doesn't even need to be true. They'll stand by it regardless. That's facts. There's about an equal amount of proof and allegation now on Pusha T and Drake and JayZ. So it's time for Not Like Us Part 2 and 3. The saying the Six God has claimed another soul. They was talking about the embassy about to get raided. I'm crying. Literally JayZ right now. Looking shook. This one has him scrambling, but I'm already hearing mumbling and these are only accusations. Right, but Drake don't have any accusations and they still run with it. These are some good points. They're saying Drake won. So time and time again we find out that someone other than Drake has actual allegations and sometimes lawsuits and cases against them. Meanwhile, every girl Drake has been accused of being inappropriate with has either publicly defended him or the story was debunked. And accused is in quotes because none of the accusations actually come from the girls themselves.
crazy.
So look, people are saying Drake won. All right. They're saying Drake's going to be listed. They can't even process the fact that Pusha T is on the list. Said JayZ projection with the Super Bowl. It's crazy. They said we're not getting Iceman because Drake has to fit in at least 100 subliminals now about all this new content. See you boys in the summer. Every accusation is a confession. Was a huge Pusha T fan, but I'll admit it when he's washed. Drake wins. All right. I hope Pusha T rots in hell for what he did to the victims. I hope they find peace and share my sincere condolences with all the victims. It is wild. All right. And this is also in the Drizzy subreddit. It's another victory lap. Says Pusha T is in the he who should.
These guys are out here on their skidoos having fun.
Into his hand like Thor's hammer. Pusha T and the T is for tranquilizer. Oh my lord, that one's savage. That one's savage. They're already writing lyrics for
The
us.
T in Pusha T for tranquilizers. Ooh, that's fire.
Reload that one.
You guys are on your skidoo? I want a skidoo.
This isn't something that should be celebrated.
Out on the frozen lake.
I hope that woman or girl is healing, and I agree with that. Every accusation was an confession.
Why am I so poor?
Pusha T drugged her. Only time he was actually living in rap. Please don't tell me that the only time Pusha T actually pushed drugs was on a minor at Epstein.
The only time Pusha T pushed drugs is with a minor.
Hey, this shit is crazy, right?
That's heavy.
Okay, if I'm gonna rap battle, it's not defamation. It's all good, right? Imagine if you reveal this in an Iceman track. Bro, TDE, Metro, and Pusha all have had accusations since the beef, but all the media does is paint Drake as the villain. Pusha Tranquilizer is absolutely diabolical. That is actually insane. The rumors back then were that Drake had gathered some massive dirt on Pusha T and that he had recorded a disc, but his team didn't let him put it out because it was diabolical and would ruin him.
Crazy.
Push, you are hiding a artwork. Man. So when is a picture of Pusha T's house with a bunch of red markers dropping on it? They're saying who's next on the list? That Pusha T pack here, that Pusha Tranquilizer pack. Was this the kill shot Drake had, but he was talked out of saying it on a song? Man, they're saying where's the academic stream when you need him? The next life, you got way too much to talk about. So this is in hip hop circle joke. They're saying that Drake has officially now won every single beef in the entire game. I'm about to. Family business should have been about Pusha T. Also, apparently, the Drake subreddit are rejoicing. It's got me dying. Meanwhile, Drake's probably in the files. Yeah, probably. But wait a minute. Oh my god, it's actually crazy. This is actually wild. Can I see this? Oh dear. It says they're all monsters. Okay, it's all monsters. Harvey Weinstein is also named, who's allegedly around with the victim, and he assaulted her. They claim that he was in the presence of JayZ and later Pusha T. Reading this reminded me of that Diddy Doc and Aubrey reading the email that was sent to her. It feels like drugging and trafficking young victims was the norm in Hollywood and somehow everyone's connected. Look, I think I'm a bit tired of this at this point, but it's going all over hip hop heads. It's got thousands of comments. They're saying Leon Black and William Barr being there is crazy, okay? Even though it's a hip hop subreddit, we looking at those pointers. Just let God sort them out, I guess, right? And Clips is really about to perform at Coachella. They're performing at the Grammys in 2 days. They just did the Vatican. I think they might need to cancel that one, right? They're saying Pusha T said, no way. JayZ said, yeah, okay. Drake about to resurrect the beef. I mean, it legitimately wouldn't be unjust if this is confirmed. It's just wild. Who needs it to be confirmed? You don't need it to be confirmed. You can just call people a PDF. This is enough. We've got a PDF document to call you a PDF. This is the same amount of evidence, if not more, than what they did.
Yo, you guys talking about
I
PDF
think the
like
hypocrites
it's
that
some
matter
light
right now
thing.
is a very, very
It's not light, yo. You don't think that shit light,
for the
bro?
JayZs, for possibly the Kendrick Lamars, because for all of the mud that you guys threw, this is looking bad. And apparently you don't need to prove these things. We got a #1 song that went global. They're not like us. Hey, minor, didn't need any evidence.
Ooh.
You guys are in the Epstein files.
Yo, what else can I put in that shit?
Wow. Alright, so look, I'm sure there'll be more fallout. I will let you guys know. I'm going to wait for JayZ to respond. No doubt he's going to respond, because when Tony Busby was making allegations, had a whole lot to say, had press statements, you couldn't get a red penny out of it. So we're going to need to hear from JayZ. We're going to need to hear a response. And I think we're going to need to hear from Pusha T. Right? We're going to need to hear,
Maybe some
you know what I'm saying?
ginger.
We're going to need to hear the story of the Epstein or something. You know what I'm saying? Put that one out. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm back in my usual setup. I will see you guys very, very soon. I'm very excited. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Peace.
This is wild, bro.
guys, your boy Quake, and 50 Cent has decided to weigh in on the JayZ Epstein files that got released, which was no matter of time. I mean, this guy is immediately on it. He was a little late, he even admits it on Instagram, but he has weighed in and he has revealed that he wants to do a documentary related to it. If you're out of the loop, DOJ, aka the Department of Justice, decided to release a bunch of files relating to Epstein because a lot of people have been asking for it. What they're about. And for JayZ and Pusha T, the context was really, really bad. If you don't know the full details of it, check my last video. I break it down of the actual document and go over, what was said, blah, blah, blah. Basically, the gist of it is there was an FBI tip by someone that called in and said that, hey, from 1994 till 2007, there was Epstein involved in 1994 of doing bad things to that woman, and then in 1996, there was Harvey Weinstein with JayZ involved in Epstein's house. And then in 2006 and 2007, the victim alleges that Pusha T was a handler of her alongside Harvey Weinstein when she went to these parties and events. So this is just an allegation. This is there is no solid proof. This is real, but this is something that was put in the FBI documents and files. And because the first tip was in 1994 that involved Epstein, it also got included in the Epstein files. With that being said, of course, the internet went crazy, and everybody started having their own theories because JayZ has been tied a lot to, Diddy, because they were close friends with Diddy, all the Diddy stuff happened. And then, of course, JayZ was really close to R. Kelly, who's also locked up for a lot of crazy stuff. And because of all those ties, the internet basically connected the dots and have basically looked at JayZ in a different light. They view him as somebody that could potentially be a part of this stuff. And there hasn't been really any solid evidence yet, but people are assuming that because he was close to Diddy, because he was close to R. Kelly at certain points, that he has something to do with all the stuff that's going on with Epstein, with Diddy, with R. Kelly, whatever, all those people that do those crazy stuff. Same with Harvey Weinstein, who is really close to JayZ at a certain point as well. With that being said, 50 Cent, though, reacted to it, and this is what he had to say on Instagram. He posted 2 photos of JayZ, and in the caption says, "Damn, they got your man Jay in the Epstein files. I gotta do a doc on this." There you go, off the rip, he's already thinking about doing a documentary on JayZ. Now, here's the kind of issue with that, and I know it sounds exciting, and it's 50 has these type of moments where he'll just say some stuff. The issue with it, there isn't any solid evidence yet. If 50 can get these victims and can get more evidence and actually piece them together, then a documentary would be explosive. It'd be the biggest thing ever, and it would definitely take down JayZ, just like Surviving R. Kelly took down R. Kelly. You'd have to get a lot of people that just, have been abused by him or, have more solid proof and evidence and all this stuff in order for a documentary to even make sense. And then he made a second post in which he deleted, and he posted a photo of JayZ's Harvey Weinstein appear in DOJ's latest Epstein files dump, which is a news report from the New York Post. And the caption says, "I know I'm late on this, but this is kind of crazy. What do you do to get thrown in that mix?" So he's asking, what the heck did JayZ get involved in to be thrown in the mix? With that being said, that's a good question from 50. At what point, how do you get involved in these things?
How was your day?
There has to be a certain point
Church
where
is
there's
alright,
smoke, there has to be fire. So I think down a certain line, I hope it's not true because, anybody getting abused, it's not something anybody should be cheering. I know a lot of people don't like JayZ, but there are people out there that are hoping that this is true just so JayZ can be, destroyed. And to me, it's like you're hoping that a victim gets victimized, or it's true that the victim got victimized just because of one person. You want to see them have to That's crazy in my eyes. But there are people out there that like that. So we don't know, there's no solid proof of anything, but 50 Cent, hey, if he's actually going to do a documentary, he might actually hire people, investigators, to look into all this stuff and see what is going on. Because that's the question that a lot of people have when it relates to JayZ. What is going on? There's a lot of smoke surrounding his name. We haven't found fire yet, but there's a lot of smoke surrounding his name. And a lot of people are raising their eyebrows saying, hey, is this guy involved? Or is he, what if he's been tied close to Diddy? He was who's tied close to R. Kelly, who's tied close to Harvey Weinstein. These are three
How is that
individuals that have
slow?
all been locked
What do
up
you
for
mean slow,
something
like-
related to
Like
abuse
fast,
or,
slow?
you know,
No.
whatever the case may be. Now, what's
Wait,
interesting
the
is
lady that
academics
was
reshared that 50 Cent
doing
post,
the
and in the
survey.
caption he said this,
Very slow.
getting fit but
She
this
would
week,
forget
I
what
heard
we
lawsuits
wanted.
are
Oh,
already
She had to
flying
come
allegedly.
3 times.
And he didn't
Right?
delete it. That was
It
actually a
was
post
like-
that he actually
What does
deleted.
that?
And
I got
what's
French
crazy about this
toast,
post is Push
and then
T
she came back and
liked it.
said,
So
oh, do you want
apparently
bacon
JayZ
with
is
that?
going around
I said,
threatening
no,
to
she
sue
came back and
for,
she says,
uh,
well, what
you know,
did you order?
talking about this
no.
post,
And
especially
I'm
big
going,
public
and
figures.
then
I mean,
the
that's
same
why
thing with
in my post I
Elizabeth,
say, hey, there's no solid proof.
and then she
It's all
brought the wrong
allegations. And
kind
that's
of
the reality
potatoes,
situation. It's all
with John,
allegations. There's no solid
and
proof JayZ did any of
it
this
was
stuff.
stupid.
And that's the thing. If there's no
And they're
solid proof,
usually really
anybody
good.
can
Yeah,
accuse
what's going on
anything.
there?
I don't
This is
know,
somebody who called in
but
in
that waitress
2019
was,
and basically said,
very
hey,
like-
flaky,
this is
you know?
one of my recounts of
She was older.
1994, 1956,
Like
She was a
2006,
silver hair,
2007. These are my
so
recounts
she
of
was
what
a
happened.
senior,
And these are the
Okay.
people that
definitely.
happened,
Yeah,
you
she
know,
probably
to do
trying
something
to
to me.
hang
With
up
that
her
being
rope.
said, let me know what you
I
guys
know.
think. You
Maybe
guys
she's
think
tired.
Jason is actually
Yeah.
going to, you know, hire
Obviously.
investigators, have people
Maybe it
look
was,
into
you know,
JayZ,
too much for
and
her or
potentially
something.
make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
documentary
But-
so that he
Yeah,
can,
there
you
wasn't
know, I don't know,
that
take down
many,
JayZ's career,
people
basically. Have a
there.
film
I
turn
mean,
on
no, it was
or
full.
you
It
guys
was
think
full.
that it's just
There was
trolling
only
and
2
it's just
seats
reacting
left.
like the rest of the
Okay.
internet?
Yeah.
Because the rest of the internet
So,
is, you know, throwing all
Yeah,
kinds of
it's,
allegations out there. And
so,
some of the stuff actually holds weight though, so let's not,
I got
skip
something,
over everything, but some of it is just, you know,
I'm gonna put this
stuff
in the
just
fridge.
entertain
I
people,
couldn't
just
eat it all.
have people talking.
It was French
It's
toast
being
and
very
bacon,
weary
but,
Oh,
of the
that sounds
internet.
good.
It can get very
I'm trying to
tricky
figure
out
out
there
what
with
to make for
landmines,
supper.
spreading fake information, fake
I'm gonna
news,
go have a
just to
nap and
push
then
certain narratives of artists they
I'll
don't
probably
like.
have,
So just watch out for that.
see, so
But
it's
let me know
soup
what
or
you guys
something.
think.
I'm
bored,
Is this going
so-
to happen? Is there
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be
I got
something?
soup in
Is there a
Yeah,
potential
you
I
JayZ
gotta run that up there
to
now.
be revealed related to
I was
JayZ?
thinking of like
That's it for
some
today's video. If you guys want to
mushrooms,
support the channel
a little
further,
bit of
you can do so
spinach.
at patreon.com
Over
/Diverse
what, though?
Mentality. For just $3 a month,
Well,
you
here's
get my
rice.
videos uncut
Here's
and
rice
raw the
here.
way
You
I
can-
intended them to be.
Okay.
you
But
can
cut
have
it
that
because of
because it's
YouTube. Plus,
perfect
you
chicken
also get
flavor.
access to
Oh,
our
perfect.
Discord
And then
community where we
the
have a
mushroom
great
and
community
spinach.
talks about
Oh,
hip-hop,
yeah.
And
various other
onions,
things.
garlic.
It's
And
very
you can
dope.
put broccoli
Only
in
$3
there.
a
And
month.
broccoli,
I really
yeah,
appreciate the
exactly.
support. Also follow us on
Healthy
social media
stuff.
at QuakeGW and at Diverse
Stuff what I
Mentality.
like.
Thank you so much for
I'm
the
gonna
support,
go
and I'll see you guys
and,
on the next one. Peace.
Lay down.
To be honest, cooking and stuff, it just helps me to stay busy.
So that will be good. That's easy.
Yeah,
This
we can
is,
do that.
yeah.
I'll do it with patience, so it turns out good for us.
Yeah.
But I always put your what, up, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have a nap.
I just
So-
need some more, stuff, less easy. We got some cake, right? We got some cake.
Yeah.
Sorry, she came at the same time,
Three of us.
same time she came. Same time, Kathy came.
Oh,
It was perfect, same time.
oh.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein?
I
Yes, we
didn't
are.
see
Because
the
if nobody
diet.
cares about Epstein, then why all the deflection? Earlier this year, the Trump administration made a big show of releasing files. They gave binders to conservative influencers, they promised
Close your door.
transparency, but did not
So you
deliver.
don't hear
Flash
me.
forward to December, and we finally got some new documents. But while everyone was losing their minds over Bill Clinton in a hot tub, did you hear what Rep. Thomas Massey said to the press?
Epstein also had close ties to our own intelligence agencies and Israel's intelligence agencies.
And while everyone was counting how many times Trump's name appeared in the flight logs, did you catch that Ghislaine Maxwell has her helicopter pilot license? And that helicopters don't require the same flight logs as planes? And maybe most importantly, were you paying attention to what was happening in the world while these files were being released? Because I think that might be the point. The internet has been ruthless with these drops. People are treating unverified tips like secrets. And the real story, the intelligence connections, the blackmail operation, the system that protected Epstein for decades, is getting buried under 2 billion pages of documents, which is exactly what they want. So I did job teaching the children of New York's wealthiest families. And that's where he made the connections that would change his life. In early 1976, Epstein was invited to an art gallery reception in Midtown Manhattan by a Dalton parent. And at that event, he was introduced to Ace Greenberg, a top executive at Bear Stearns, one of Wall Street's most powerful firms. The parent told Greenberg that Epstein was wasting his time at Dalton, and Greenberg invited Epstein for an interview. Now here's the thing. When Epstein showed up, he didn't have any idea how Wall Street worked, okay? But Greenberg was impressed anyway. Why? Well, because Epstein had a talent, and it wasn't finance. He was just a hell of a salesman. Epstein got the job, and shortly after, he got caught lying about having degrees from 2 California universities on his resume. But they kept him on anyway, because Epstein quickly proved his real